Hi, John Dursick here with the Ohio Department of Transportation in the Office of CAD and Mapping Services. And today I'm going to go over how to use the new Project Index program or application. Many of you probably don't know that there was an old one, but the new one I completely rewrote, and it goes along with our new ODOTcadd standards, and it does a couple more things. So the program basically fills out an Excel file, and I have a template file that's located in the standards. So, but if you go to use this, make sure you have the current standards, and it's located in your whatever drive you have, ODOTcadd standards, ODOT project tools folder, and then there's an Excel file labeled ODOTcadd project index. So this is a template file that I am using. Basically, when you run the program, it's taking this file and copying it to your projects folder, unless you're updating an existing one, which I'll go over later. So just a brief overview of what the sheet looks like. There's two worksheets, the CAD files and other files. The CAD files consists of basically two sections, a base map design file section and a sheet design file section. Basically what it's going to do is list your base map files and your sheet files with some information. And the other files has your monumentation reports, existing 3D surfaces, proposed 3D surfaces, and this last section is for alignments. So that's just real quick. I'll go over that in more detail after we fill it out. So to start the application, you want to go to the ODOT tab in MicroStation. You're going to want to have GeoPack activated if your project contains GeoPack data. So under the ODOT pull down, project management, and then project index. And so it's going to pop up this dialog, and you got two options right off the start. It's either create new project index or update existing project index. And so when you click the update existing, you're going to get some more options, and basically you're going to select where your existing file is. But I'll go over that after we get through the program. So for a new project, you're just going to make sure you have the create new project index toggle on, and then just hit continue. So now you have a bunch of tabs up at the top, but only the first tab, the project info tab, will be enabled. The other ones will get enabled after you complete this page. So first off, there is a question mark right here. If you click that, that's going to open up a PDF documentation of how to use this. So after this video, if you still have questions, check this out. It should give you all the information you want, but it's so much easier just to watch a video, right? So first thing you want to do is select your project's PID folder location. And that's where it says select the project PIDs directory. So click this search icon, and an Excel search browser is going to pop up. I used Excel because I like their search browser. You have a lot more functionality with it, like your favorites over on the side. And so basically when this opens up, the default location is the location where your open MicroStation file is saved. So I have this file open at this location, so that's where this started me at in this search browser. So all you want to do is select the PID folder, which is just right there. After you select it, just hit OK. You do need to be using the ODOTcadd folder structure, so you should have project data, and then there's an optional county folder if you decide to use that or not. So then just hit OK, and the PID number will be filled out here with its location shown below. Make sure you're on the PID folder or this program won't work. Next, just fill out the project's county route section. There's a district pull down. It's not really, doesn't need to be filled out. It's there just to filter your county drop down if you want. So it'll filter only the counties in that, only the counties in that district. So you're just going to type in the route section and you're going to hit start. And when you hit start, what it's doing is it's going to cycle through all the folders and files inside your PID folder that you just set above right here. It's going to figure out, is this file a base map? Is it a sheet? Is it something to do with GeoPack? So I'll go through how it fills out the rest of these tabs once it goes through all this. So I'll probably just fast forward through this. This laptop does slow down, so on your machines this should go a heck of a lot faster. So once that's done, it's going to open up the Excel file. It'll be that template file, but what it does is it copies it into your project's folder structure, and where it's going to put it is, right now I have it set for inside the PID, project admin, and then inside the plan package folder, because I believe this is going to be eventually required when you with the plan package. So for now, that's where it's going to be located. So copies in it, names it just the PID _ index. So what it does right off the bat is it filled out your county route section right there as project, filled in the PID, and it hyperlinked the base location to your PID folder. I'll go over what that button is in a minute. And then same thing over here, it filled that out. You will have to fill in a project description. So whatever it is, maybe it's a road widening, maybe there's bridge work, whatever you want to do. And the last thing it did was if it found any monumentation reports, you can create these. It's in our CAD manual. Tells you how to create them and where to save them. For this to get filled out here, there needs to be a CSV file inside the GeoPack folder, and then it needs to contain _monuments _ in the file name for it to find it and list it, and that'll be hyperlinked, as well as it put a base hyperlink on this page as well. So back to the program. So now all these tabs are enabled and you can't go back to the project info. So the base maps tab, it's going to be filled out with any files with a file extension of .dgn or .dwg, and the files must be located inside a folder named base maps. That's the only way files will be listed in this section. And so what you do is you just select all the files. You can select it by clicking and dragging, or you can use Control and click. And so once you select the ones that you want, you're going to hit place base map info. Excuse me. And once you do that, it will fill out this base map design files section on the Excel file. And so what it fills out is the relative path of the file, so everything after this PID folder, and then the file's name. And then it also will list a description. It's grabbing this description from the file's title and comments properties or fields. Those are set if you use our VB application to create your project files. You can have that filled out. So I highly recommend that you do that as you create your files, because then it makes this step so much easier. If not, like this doesn't have a description, this just has a date, a version date, you're going to have to come in here and you're going to have to write in what these files are. I would change that column width so that it shows everything. And so you know, come in here and write what all these files are. Change them if they need to be changed. Like, say that doesn't need to have roadway there or something. And then another important note, say you forgot, oh, I needed this file too. It doesn't just append, it doesn't just add underneath, it's going to replace everything in this section. So once I hit place, you know, if I only had one selected, I hit place, oh, all of them are gone now, except for the one you had selected. So it's not an append, it's basically a rewrite. So make sure you have everything selected that you want selected before you hit that. That's how, same thing with the sheets. This is just populated a little differently. This only allows for .dgn files because I need to open it in MicroStation. And what I do when I open it, I'm opening it in the background and I'm looking for ODOT sheet cells. And so you have to be using the new ODOTcadd ones that has all the tags in them. And you're only allowed one sheet per model. So you can have multiple sheet models in one file, but you can only have one sheet in each model. If you have more than one, it won't be listed here because I'm going to see that there's two and I'm not going to list it. So I know it's a pain, but it's the way you have to do it. And then I also am grabbing the page number. So if you don't have a page number listed, it's just going to be a bunch of zeros listed, and I sort them. So, and then I list the file name / what model it came from, so you can see just looking. And what you're going to do is just copy or just select all the files you want added, and you can hit the place sheet info. And just like the base maps, it's going to place all that selection in this sheet design file section, except this time there's a little more information. It's going to list the sheet number, again the path, the relative path, and the file name, what the model name it came from, and description, which is again being taken from the file's title and comments field. So if you have, you know, multiple sheet models in a file, your descriptions are going to be the same for those files. So you're going to have to come in here and you're going to have to change the descriptions so that they match up. So that's, again, I highly recommend you create your sheets using that VBA because it's going to save you time here. Alright, so the next section, 3D surfaces. So this is a little different for basically planning for the future. This is going to be populated with a number of different files if it finds. Basically, all these files have to be inside the geopack folder. And then it's going to be populated with TIN files, DTM files, DXF files, DWG files, ICMs, which is probably new to most of you guys, and iModel. And then there's also one other type, XML files will show up here, but it's going to be files that don't have chain in the name. It'll make more sense once I go over the land XML files. So all those will be listed in here. They're going to be your surfaces. Select the surfaces like existing, and then select your proposed over here. You know, just as you select all the other ones. Oh, I forgot to mention, all these sheets do have this clear selection button, and it's just going to clear your selection. So after you select the files that you want, you know, maybe this one and this one, those are proposed, you hit place surface info, and it's going to place that into the Excel file for you. So the existing files are in this section, and the proposed files are in this section. Now I don't really have a way to get descriptions, so you have to come in here and fill out the description, whatever they are, you know, existing surface. You know, you're probably gonna have more detail than that. Same thing for this section. You know, make sure you put in your descriptions because it doesn't really mean much without the descriptions. All right, so the next two sections are the land XML and GeoPack. So basically, these kind of do the same thing. Your land XML files you can create from your GPK, and that's spelled out in our CAD manual. Again, I just do want to point out that you can associate more than one profile when you create your XML files for your alignments. And so I guess I can show that real fast if I go open Kogo. And I don't have anything. Okay. So under File, Export, there's this land XML 1.2 geometry. Once that loads up, so the project name, it says to do the PID, so whatever the PID is. Description, it says it's optional in our CAD manual right now, but I wrote my code so that you can put whatever the route name is. So that's how I would do it. This selects where you're going to save the file and the file name. So you can do that. And then you want to change this points to chains. And then you're going to select that chain. And then check this export profiles if your chain has profiles with it. And then, I'm not going to actually search for them, but say this is the existing profile and this is the proposed. If you just hit Control, you can highlight both of them, and when you export, it'll have both of those profiles in that XML file. And so that's that. So that's how you want to create the land XMLs from your GeoPack, because I think this is where we're moving, and GeoPack will be going away eventually. I don't know how long it's going to take, but eventually it'll be go away. And our CAD standards manuals also says you should create an ASCII file for each of your alignments and profiles, which I'm not going to go over because it's in that standards manual. So basically what you're going to do is select your alignment XML file, and when you select it, this route name, if you filled out that description like I showed, it's going to get populated, which that one probably doesn't filled out. That one does. And it's going to get populated with what you had. And then it's going to show you, it's going to open the XML file in the background, it's going to grab the chain name, and then you need to select, is it an existing or proposed? So that's existing. And then select the profiles. So now standard naming convention isn't as picky here. It's just looking for it inside the XML file. But this XML file name needs to be named properly. If this _chain_ is not in the name, it's going to get thrown over into this 3D services. That's how I separate them out. So you need that in the name. And then again, when you create your chain, you can have a description of that chain. That's how I populate this road/route description. It's from the chain description. So if you filled that out when you made your chain, it'll be populated in here. If not, you need to fill it out. And so you just hit place chain info, and it's going to fill that out. And so in this section, it filled out the relative path of that file and the name, whatever you put for your centerline name, the type of chain, the name of the chain, and then if it found the ASCII file in the same location of where this XML file is saved, it will hyperlink to it. So this is where you need to follow the CAD manual on naming conventions, or it won't be able to pick that up. And so there, it opened up that ASCII file. Same thing with the profiles. It lists the profile name and hyperlinks to the ASCII file if it found one, and it lists the description. Now you're going to repeat this process for all of the chains you have, or alignments I should say. Now the GeoPack tab is going to list that same stuff. So if you do the land XMLs, you don't need to list the GeoPack ones. No, unless you're required to by someone might request it, then I would say, yeah, go and do it. So this is here basically because we still use GeoPack. This eventually won't be there. So GPK file, you're going to select whatever is listed, and you're probably only going to have one. When you select it, it's going to fill out what the job number is. And so then what you're going to do is, fill out your own name, fill out your description. Maybe it's, I don't know. And then pick your chain. Now here it's going to list every single chain that is in your GPK file. So there could be a good amount of them. And then you just select if it's existing or proposed chain. And then again, it's going to list all the profiles. I don't look at the naming to try to separate out if it's existing or proposed. I just populate both of these with all the profiles. So same thing with this land XML. All the profiles in the XML file are listed in both existing and proposed, and then I let you figure it out. And there's also none. If you don't have a profile, select none. So I'm just going to select a random one, and you just hit place chain info, and it places it. Now nothing will be hyperlinked from the GPK. It's only for XML files. List just the relative path and the name of the file and all that good stuff that you listed. So basically, after you do all that, you have the sheet for the most part filled out. You're going to want to come in and make sure that these column widths aren't cutting anything off. So the way I set these up is so that you can print and it won't be just a mess. So this page, all these columns will be shrink to fit on one sheet or one page, and it's going to be in landscape mode. And then in the CAD files, this sheet design files, you can change the column widths, and it's all going to fit on one page, landscape mode again. And same thing with this. So basically it'll be 3 pages. Now I don't shrink the rows to fit, so if you have just a bunch of files listed, it will repeat these rows at the top so that you can tell. And then this change PID folder location button, you'll see there's one for each page. They all do the same thing, and basically it's there for when a project gets moved around and it's in a different location. Now you hit this change PID folder location, it's going to bring up a browser, and you're going to select the new PID folder location. And then what it's going to do is it's going to update all of your hyperlinks. So this will be hyperlinked if you change it. And then, this hyperlink would be update. All these hyperlinks would then work. The only condition really is that the existing hyperlink was pointed to that PID folder before. If it's pointing somewhere else, then obviously I can't update it. So just make sure you fill out the descriptions and save the file. So that's mainly filling out a new file, but now I'm going to just quickly go over if you want to update one. So back to the program. Oh, and if it doesn't find a GeoPack, if it doesn't find a GPK file, this GeoPack tab will be ghosted. You won't be able to click on it. And same thing with land XML. If it doesn't find any of these XML files, it'll be ghosted. You won't be able to click on it because there's really no need to. When you hit X, it's going to save that file for you automatically. If somehow it fails to save, it's going to bring up a save as browser, and then you can save it. So I just automatically save that file. So now let's say I wanted to update. You're going to come back and you're going to run this project index. You're going to select update. Then you're going to hit this search icon. You're going to navigate to that file. So if you guys had saved somewhere else, you can navigate to that and just hit OK. And once you pick a location, it's only going to let you pick Excel files, by the way. You won't see any other files listed. And the continue button is now enabled, and this remember selected index file descriptions checkbox. I'm going to say almost all the time you're going to want to select that. What that is doing is all these descriptions that you guys probably changed after you inserted on all these sections is being remembered. So it's going to store that for you. So if you need to replace that, you don't lose that data. So you hit continue, and then again, it's going to go through all of those files. So I'll fast through this part. And then you don't need to worry about filling out the district, county, route section because you're updating the existing one. This is just shown so you can see the progress. Once it's done, it's going to move over to the base map. It's basically doing the same thing as if you would hit this start button. It's just going to go through, remember those descriptions, and it's also going to select any of the files that it finds. So I'll show that once this is done. So once it's done, if you already have the Excel file open, it's going to know that, and it's not going to try to reopen it. It's just going to say, hey, it's open, and use that. So what you'll notice is that it selected all of these basement files that were already listed. And then same thing with sheets. If you listed it, it's selected, listed, selected, except for the land, XML, and GeoPack, because it doesn't really matter for those, because these ones aren't rewriting over everything. So say you came back through, you need to add one more, place base map info. I just want to show you that it does remember. I don't know if you remember, but I changed some of these around. I forget what I did now, but it remembered any kind of description changes that I made. I guess this would be a good one to show the proposed. So if I just rewrite over it, it kept that. It kept that. So I think you guys are gonna like that, because I know it's probably gonna be a lot of updating. Nobody wants to lose the work they did, or no one would use this, right? So that's the gist of how to use it. If you guys notice anything wrong or you get an error message, just let me know. All right, see you next time.